Let me talk about other domestic issues too, and we talked about economics. You're in favor of a sales tax.
To totally get rid of the taxes on productivity and to go to a consumption tax instead, to change the very structure of the tax system from top to bottom.
At what level would you do this? And what is your model for this?
Well, the model is what's called a fair tax.
Right.
And it was designed by probably the best economists in the country who were charged with this task. Take a blank sheet of paper and without any particular pressure or agenda, design a tax system that would meet the needs of our economy, but would do it in the most efficient, effective way that would actually improve the economic capacity for everyone in the system.
And would generate just as much research as revenue as the tax system we had now.
That was the point.
You've given it.
It would be essentially a financial wash in terms of what the rate would, or what the income would be. But there are several reasons that it works so much more effectively. The first is that you don't tax productivity, whether it's income of corporations or individuals. You don't tax capital gains, you don't tax savings, you don't tax dividends, you don't tax inheritance.
So you're not saying that, I don't have any question about, I'm going to raise the capital gains tax as some Democrats want to do from 15 to 25 or 30. You want to do away with the capital gains tax because it impedes productivity or whatever reason you believe. There are those who say a sales tax is inherently unfair to the poor.
It would be, except for this wonderful provision of the fair tax. And I would never be for the fair tax unless it had the provision of the prebate, which makes the fair tax work more for the poor than any other economic group. Here's why. Under the prebate program, the way it works is that at the first of each month, every citizen gets a check, just like it would be a Social Security check, in the amount of the consumption sales tax rate up to the point of poverty for each member of the household, which is a way of untaxing everyone for their groceries and medicines and basic necessities. Now, it would untax completely the poor and the elderly, people who spend a whole lot of money on maybe things they buy, lobster and not bologna.
Right.
It probably might not rebate them, but they don't need it. But at every level, the studies show that if you're at the bottom level of the economy, the bottom third, the impact for you is about a gain of about 13.8%. In the middle, it's about 6%, and at the top, it's still about 4.5%. So everybody benefits.
No other political candidate who's advocating this.
I think there's others that support it, but I don't think anybody is maybe as bold as I am about suggesting.
You want to do away with the income tax?
Absolutely. I'd do away with the IRS. There wouldn't be an IRS.
No, you want to abolish the IRS?
You wouldn't need them. Because the IRS, 66,000 pages of tax code, who understands it? Do you know we spend $250 billion a year in compliance? Wouldn't that money be better put in wages and benefits and research and development and marketing? Do you realize there are $10 trillion of U.S. money parked offshore that is American money, but the money has been moved offshore because it's got to be protected from the taxes. France has a lower tax on companies and corporations than the United States. There's 22% embedded tax in every single thing we buy. You pick something off the shelf, there's 22% embedded tax in it. By the time you pay the income tax from the corporation level, which corporations don't pay, they pass it to the customers, the payroll taxes, all of the various ways in which those companies are taxed that is passed on in the cost of doing business, the cost of the product. Here's what's wrong. If a European manufacturer makes something, he's not required to put the value-added tax, the VAT, on it as it comes in as an import to America. But the American manufacturer has to put that embedded tax in. So already the American company is working at a disadvantage. And guess what happens? We're losing manufacturing jobs. They're going to Asia, and they're going to Europe, and they're going to Mexico. Is it because our workers aren't capable? No. It's because our tax system is choking the life out of this economy.